We who are about to play salute you. Well, the dramatic overacting may give you some indication that I in fact have a cold and flu at the moment. A little bit under the weather, but you know, when you're not well, sometimes it's the best time to get some comfort blankets, if you will, and you know, go back to the nostalgic past of your youth and play some old games. And that's what we're going to do today. We're playing Wonder Boy, the original classic from 1986 from Sega and Western. This is a simple arcade platform game that I grew up on. It was one of the very first games I played as a kid on my Sega Master System, and we're going to have a quick run through it today. Alright, let's jump into it. Alright, here we are, Wonder Boy, featuring Tom Tom as Wonder Boy and his girlfriend Tina, who you must rescue, which is not a very caveman sounding name. But let's jump into it. That's basically the story. Your girlfriend is stolen by an evil king or something like that, and you, as this basically a little boy who's got a girlfriend, has to go rescue her. The screen only goes in one direction, as you notice. You can't go any further back, and you got to keep moving forward, or your little health bar at the top there will go down. And you eat food, mainly fruit, but later junk food, which is a great idea, to keep you alive and healthy. And you want to take down things with your little hammer. If you hit things like stones, you'd lose health faster. It's been ages since I played this, many years in fact. And what you hear behind you is the soundtrack. Oh yeah, there we go, this is cool. If you get the handbag, you get up and you get to the bonus area, and you can just kind of skip some things, and you can kind of... Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I was meant to get the hearts. But that skips a whole area and takes you right to the next bit. So in each level, there are 4 kind of little mini stages to clear. And they're checkpoints, basically. Up the hill, there'll be some boulders coming down. I'm going to dodge those. Oh yeah, cool. Here we go with the angel. And basically with the angel, you can run through things. It's like the Super Mario Star. Now Super Mario, of course, predates this game. Not by that much. So there are some ideas that I'm sure were inspired by. Notice the sprite flickering there. That's a thing that you saw a lot on consoles. They did a lot of trickery to get these games, you know, to run and scroll smoothly, and often sprites would flick in and out for technical reasons. It's quite cool. Well, not really cool, but it's interesting to know how they did it. I got that doll. That little doll up on the screen there. If you get all the dolls on all 28 levels, 7 rounds, 4 areas, there's an 8th bonus level. I don't remember if I ever got that. I don't know if I did. I was pretty good at this game back in the day, and you could play 2 players with a friend and alternate lives, and we actually got very far. And it has a fair variety of stages. You know, it does repeat a lot, but for the time it's pretty intuitive. Alright, so there's a skateboard, and that's going to make things interesting. Skateboard forces you to go forward, but you go faster and you can jump further. But it makes it tricky when you got island platforms like such. Whoa, tricky, there we go. So, second area. Oh, into the water. Two lives left. Probably safer to not have the skateboard, even though it looks cooler. When I was a kid, I thought that Wonder Boy was every bit as popular as Super Mario, because I had a Sega, and I got a Sega because I saw Wonder Boy and Monsterland in their video arcades, and I just had to have that game. I played that Wonder Boy and Monsterland in Season 1 of the Games Gladiator, so you can go back and check that out if you like, but that game inspired me so much that I just had to have a Sega, and I had to play the whole Wonder Boy series and everything. And I loved Mario as well, but for some reason I chose the Sega, you know, go figure. Because Mario is actually, you know, inherently It's a better series, but I do love Wonder Boy. And I thought that Wonder Boy was every bit as popular. I really did. And, you know, I'd go to school and tell my friends about Wonder Boy, and they kind of went, some of them knew, some of them didn't. But when I found out many years later that not many people know about Wonder Boy because Sonic ended up being the Sega mascot, Wonder Boy was kind of the unofficial mascot along with Alex Kidd back in the early days, but never truly became as popular. Now, there's been a bunch of spin-offs and sequels over the years. They even did a remake, which I've never played, of this game called Wonder Boy Returns. It doesn't... I don't know. I'm sure it's good, but it looks a little... I don't know. A little mobile gamey to me. If you've played it, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. But they did a remake of the Dragon Strap, which is Wonder Boy 3, which I'm actually going to play in the next Games Gladiator video, because that's a really cool game, and I've finished that, in fact. Oh, come on. We're almost there. I believe we'll have to use the continue. There's your girlfriend Tina there. And what you see on the screen coming towards you now is the end boss. And when you kill him, his head changes to the next one. So we may get there today, we may not. I mentioned this I mentioned that soundtrack because that is the soundtrack for the entire game except for the boss stages, and it only goes for, you know, 20-30 seconds. Now, they had limited space on these cartridges, and it's a pretty catchy song, but this must have drive... Oh, there you go. There's a bit of a break with a Sega sound. But this would have driven parents crazy, and I know it drove my dad nuts, and he would get so furious, he'd, you know, go up and turn the TV sound down. Poor guy, having to hear this, because I would play this non-stop in the mornings and weekends. It can be quite tricky playing arcade games when you're doing a Let's Play video, because you're trying to concentrate on the game, but you're also trying to talk. I don't know how people do it, the really good ones that go for world records and so on. You know, the people that play Dark Souls without, you know, losing a life and so on. I suspect that a lot of them, they just don't talk during the video, and they just concentrate fully on the game, because I'm struggling, as you can see. Alright. One life left. We get to round 3 at least. One of the tricky things about the game is the shoot and the run are the same button, much like Mario's fire thing, but when you're using a keyboard, it's not quite as intuitive. We saw an S before. If you get all 4 of the letters, a Sega appears and you get an extra life. It's a little bit floaty, the jumping and so on. Usually continue. Yeah, a little bit floaty, and so you kind of like slide around on the clouds, and there is actually ice tiles later which make it even more floaty. Go figure. The tiniest bit of lag, because I'm actually playing this through an emulator. Obviously not, I don't have an old Sega Master System anymore hooked up, so we're playing it in a browser in an emulator. Oh, I don't know why I'm struggling so much with that jump. Come on, focus, focus. My 8-year-old self would be ashamed to how bad my skills have gotten at Wonder Boy. So you'll notice I'm playing a lot of platform games at the moment in the Games Gladiator, because I'm building Spartacus as a combat platform game, a little less twitchy than this. I'm just playing a lot of these games, you know, for research and just to get some ideas on controls and traps and enemies and things like that. And what better place than to go back to the original classics like this? Whoa, 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 timing. Oh, that's tricky. Come on. Sometimes I feel like I get in my own head when I play these games. You can see how that soundtrack would slowly drive you mad. It's funny, I mean, these days we have an abundance of games, you know, literally thousands and thousands of games to choose from, you know, at prices ranging from free up to, you know, the AAA games. There we go. But it's so... You can't say it enough how much... Back in the day, we only had a few games, and how many times we would play them. And you got so good at them because you had nothing else to play. And I would play this for hours and hours because this was it. Your parents might buy you 1 or 2 games a year, and you would get so good at them because you're obsessed with them. And I think as kids we get a little bit obsessed with, things like, Pokemon cards and toys and finding everything about them. And as a teenager, bands and so on. Well, what am I doing? That was the checkpoint too! Damn it. Alright, we'll have one last go. And as an adult, you don't really have, in general, the time or, I guess, just the focus to play these things to the point where you get obsessed with them. There's obviously an exception to the rule, but not a great game to play when you're not feeling that well, because that music is enough to give you a massive headache. Oh. Are you screaming at the screen the way I am? Ah, dear. It's lucky I'm not a proud man, because I'm pretty terrible at these games these days. Maybe that's why my subscriber count is so low. But I love it. I love you guys, the comments you write on these videos and the encouragement you give to me in general. As I always say, I'm much better at making games than playing them. Level 3, alright. Checkpoint 3. Angel, alright, here we go. Gonna run through all these danger areas. The culturally sensitive islanders. Whoa, just made it. Alright, 4. Uncharted territory. Those areas in front of you can be a bit dodgy because, the moving platforms, because you feel like, is it going to go right into the water or not? You're never quite sure. This is only the first area as well. It's quite a challenging game. Got the doll. Alright. Scary face castle as we head into. I would like to get to the first boss if possible. That would be good. Excuse me, I am dying here. Man, I've been sick all week. It's been frustrating since Saturday, basically. And when your kids start to daycare, they just bring all manner of interesting germs home with them. My own little wonder boy, Isaac. Alright, onto the skateboard. One day I'm going to introduce him to all these games, Oh, what's the skateboard? Skateboard can be dangerous anyway. This level reminds me a lot of Wonder Boy and Monsterland, the caves. And those bats in general. Oh, bats, man. Bats in video games. Never get sick of hating on them. Whoa! Because my big head is blocking the front of the screen there, sometimes I look at this other screen. I have 2 monitors. This one is safer to look at, although it's more polite to look at the camera up here, isn't it? Engage with the audience. Jump! Oh, blue skull, it looks like dangerous. And for some reason there's a cobra in the cave. Narrow escape. There was a lot of really interesting level design in this for such a simple platform game. Here we are on ice, sliding now. Last thing you need in a floaty platformer is ice tiles, because it's even more floaty. What's that? Oh, skateboard, great. Go for broke. What's that? Oh, death. Oh no, that's no good because death makes you lose your health. Oh, so we're gonna try and get the doll. Oh, well, death would have killed us anyway, but we do have the doll now. 1 life remains. Round. Okay, we can get to the boss. We can do it. You can see the world scrolls up and down and so on, and that's something the original Super Mario Bros. Didn't have. So it is a bit more advanced in some ways. we grab that, jump onto that, jump off that, dodge the bats because we don't have a weapon. Alright, the boss area awaits. Do 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 do. And you know, the high score and everything's all part of the arcade experience. You know, it was all, the high score was the thing. Here is the boss music and the boss level. So this is a challenging one. We've got some spiders to dodge. We've got the doll again. Got a hammer. You know, spiders on webs and so on. It's a classic that you've seen in a million arcade games, but this was one of the first games to think of it. Some milk. I can't remember, but there is a way to get junk food in this game somehow. It might be in later levels. The delicious cakes and hamburgers and so on. And that was one of the inspirations for me for my little fat kid and salad dodger. It was sort of based on the junk food element of Wonder Boy. And there's actually a lot of, you know, enemies and variety in this game, probably much more than Super Mario, you'd almost say. Super Mario actually controls a lot better. Oh, of course, but this has a certain charm to it. And I love the pixel art. This would not be out of place in a pixel art game of today, an indie game. It's funny how you haven't played a game in, you know, for me this is over 30 years. But you remember so much of it because it's just etched in your memory as a child. Nothing like the enemies that come up from the rear like that and try to attack you. You gotta dodge them. Shouldn't be dodging that fruit though because I'm low on health. Alright, here we are at the first boss. So this guy's going to come at us. We're going to jump up and hit his head. He was easy, but they get a lot harder. See how his head now changed to the second boss? They get quite tough actually. Got to go backwards and forwards, and I think they even threw fireballs at you. Oh, 430 points off a high score. Ah, we got the high score! Yay! The high score in the Joyce household. Alright, happy days. So we're now on area 2, I guess, and we've got a mushroom, which I don't really know what it does. It might give you a score. It doesn't make you big or small. It might be just a little, you know, an Easter egg nod to Super Mario, which, you know, inspired so many games, including this one. I highly encourage you to play Wonder Boy and Monster Land, the second one of these, and the Dragon's Trap, because they're both beautiful games. And if you have a Switch, you should check out Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, because that was, you know, that's a spiritual successor to all of these games. Right, one more life, then we'll call it quits. There is more to see in this game, but not that much more. There's a variety of levels and so on, but they still use the same basic tile sets. Because they really didn't have that much room on the cartridge. I remember there were games on Sega that touted themselves as a 4 megabyte game. You know, and we have, you know, images that are bigger than 4 megabytes. We have images that are hundreds and hundreds of megabytes now. Simple PNG files are 4 megabytes. And this isn't a small game. I mean, this is probably 30, 50 kilobytes or something like that. Alright. There it is. The end for us and for Wonder Boy. Today, Tina will not be rescued. Perhaps she will another day. Thank you for being with me on the Games Gladiator. It's been fun. A fun little trip back to 1986 and the days of my childhood. Let me know what games take you back to your own childhood if you're you know, old enough to have nostalgic memories like that. Love to know about them, and I'll see you next time on the Games Gladiator. Bye for now.